Welcome back to the #1 podcast in the world. I'm your host, Chase Demore.
And Gabrielle Moses.
And it's been a while, guys. We have a lot to catch up on.
Oh my gosh. From boxing to almost getting kidnapped to
Dancing with the Stars to
drama.
All of the stuff that's been going on the internet recently. And, we took a little bit of a hiatus, had a little bit of a spring break, if you will. And now we're back just diving right into it. And the very first thing that I just really want to talk about and get off my chest is there is a sad influencer out here.
Oh no, stirring the pot already. We're 1 minute in.
It's not even so much stirring the pot as I'm just preaching my perspective of things, because if there's anybody that's going to say anything to this person, it's going to be me, just because when you look at how people view other certain individuals, there seems to be some sort of like pecking order or some sort of hierarchy, and certain individuals were given a huge platform at the time, and because of that platform, a lot of people looked up to this said individual.
Oh no, I already see you getting an angry text.
I don't really care about the angry text. My whole point is, if anybody's going to say something to him, it needs to be somebody who has a fighting chance, who has a platform, who has done a lot, that's going to be like, hey, what you're doing is not right anymore. You are a very grown adult. You are in your late 20s now. And I'm just going to go right into it and say that this person, obviously, was given a platform with Netflix. He was given a lot of opportunities by moving to LA with COVID. He got to meet a lot of influencers, and this person also really helped me grow a lot as an influencer and as a content creator, as a reality TV star. It has helped a lot of people, but this person is kind of taking it to the extent right now where recently he was on Dancing with the Stars. He was on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, you're just, okay.
He was on Dancing with the Stars this past season, and enough is enough. This person has blackballed people. This person has said things about people. This person has had relationship controversy from the jump. And where I draw the line is, you have this 18-year-old girl, as referred to in his new podcast, Boyfriend Material by Alex Cooper. That's a whole separate can of worms. I'm going to dive into.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a whole other thing too.
Yeah, I'm going to dive into Alex Cooper and her enabling behavior in a second, because I'm tired of that shit too. And I want to just say, this 18-year-old girl, this quote-unquote cute little blonde girl, who has now bought a house, who's done a lot of really successful things, who got to be on Dancing with the Stars. The part that I'm having is when you take this 18-year-old who's fresh out of high school and now you are using her for clicks, that is a new level of low. I will not stand for that.
You're not wrong, because she also doesn't know anything different. Like, she's from, I don't even know where she's from, and she comes out here.
Utah.
Oh, she's from Utah.
Mormon.
And she's just thrown into everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fair to her either, because the odds of her actually like catching feelings or like thinking that everything that person's doing is real.
It's not even catching feelings. It's none of that. Her name is Riley Arnold. She was Harry Jowsey's partner on Dancing with the Stars. Super nice girl, very sweet, Mormon. She's from Utah, and everybody from Utah seems to be nice. So like our version of Canadians, I guess. They're all super nice. And it's very sad and sickening to see that you have this relationship with this person that is so public, that is, everybody watches Dance with the Stars. It's a big network in America, and you get this platform, and this 18-year-old girl who grew up as a fan of social media influencers, who doesn't know any better, who doesn't understand clicks, who's so fresh and so new, and you're forced to play into this fake relationship for clicks and for views. And I know said person is probably just enabling, like, hey, this is really great for us and our brand and getting voted for, because all this person wants at this time is to win this show, regardless of the fact that whatever it is that the end outcome is going to be, whether that's going to be hurting her or, possibly having some sort of relationship with this 18-year-old girl when you're almost a decade older than them. I think it's really weird, but I just don't think that it's acceptable to play on this girl's emotions, play on Riley's emotions, call her this little blonde girl as if she doesn't have her own thought processes and she's not successful in her own career, without dating shows during COVID, without controversial relationships. And, to topple on top of that, I've also been around a lot of people, a lot of his exes, who have told me stories about what really goes on behind closed doors. And sometimes you hear it the first time or the second time, you're like, oh, you're just making things up. There's no way it's actually that bad. But then it's like a repetitive story that it happens over and over and over again, almost verbatim.
The same thing.
It's sickening, you know?
One time, okay. 2 times, a third time you're hearing the same story, it's like, okay. There has to be like some sort of truth to what you're being told.
It's happened more than 3 times. I think when you refer to 3 times, you're just referring to like okay, you got Francesca, okay, you got Georgia, you got Riley now. These are just like the main girls that have been in the atmosphere. But you forget about he used to date they used to date Jake Paul, the girl from Are You the One? Freaking what the hell was her name? I'm Julia Rose.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you know, and it's just like, and then the same person is causing conflict because now he's promoting fake publicity saying said person is dating a Kardashian. It's like, fair play to him. Like, I don't have a vendetta against the guy, but what I am gonna say is enough when it comes to this 18-year-old girl that's on Dancing with the Stars. Now it's like you're not giving her a fair chance to build her own brand because now you're trying to surround your brand around this 18-year-old girl when in 10 years you'll be almost 40 and in 10 years she's gonna be your age now.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
You know.
And I think you're probably gonna be one of the only people who will say that because a lot of people are too scared to point
Yeah, I'm
everything
not scared of him.
that you're saying.
I'm like
there's a pattern.
Exactly.
And like at this point you can't deny that the pattern is like repeating itself, you know?
Yeah. What's he gonna say to me? He's gonna say what? I'm much more famous than you? Buddy, I've done 10 television shows. You've done 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do influencer boxing. You start a podcast with Alex Cooper because for some reason you went and you made friends with this girl who just so happens to have the #1 podcast in the world. And all of a sudden you're signed to her podcast and pretend like you guys have this extensive friendship that came out of nowhere. You guys take vacations together? You guys spend Christmas together? You guys know it's a mutual beneficial thing where you win, you finesse this girl to do the podcast.
It's a business move for sure.
100% it's a business move, and you hide behind the facade that that's your friend, and it's not. And you look at this person's social media and Snapchats and all this and that, and it's just like you're always hanging out with these random people that just so happen to have such positions of power in Hollywood. Like, I'm best friends with Ryan Kavanaugh. How often am I hanging out and posting with Ryan Kavanaugh? He's one of the biggest producers in Hollywood. You know what I mean? I've had him on the podcast before, sure, but like I've never been like, hey, let's go do this so I can post you all over the place to try to put myself in positions of power. You know, the same person who I should have got the first red flag from when I did the tour with Netflix and I was on the side of the truck and I said, what was it, butter chicken?
Yeah.
And bro had a fit about it. You can't say my catchphrases. Bro, you're 20-something. You don't got catchphrases. You don't get catchphrases in your mid-20s.
But he called people cupcakes or something, and that's what he got mad because it was that you called them a food item.
I don't know. I'm just like whatever. However, yeah, he does like the food item things and like whatever. It is what it is. Like that's your brand. Whatever. Do what you got to do with that. But all I'm saying is just like if nobody's gonna speak up against you because they're so worried that they're gonna lose your approval or you're gonna unfollow them because that's supposed to be some sort of dig, I'm gonna be the one to tell you like, hey bro, like you want a Kraken, I'm a Kraken too. Like, you know what I mean? Like we can go at each other and we can do this or that, but what I'm not gonna stand for is you sabotaging this 18-year-old girl who now has to be branded to you.
And now every time like she gets mentioned,
you're tagged.
You're gonna be tagged, yeah.
And how many
Trust me, I know what that's like.
Exactly. You should know better than anybody.
No, I literally know Riley's position more than anyone else. Like I get what she's going through.
It's like years later. It's years later. It's not fun. It's not fair.
Oh, trust me. Yeah, for years she's gonna hear, "Oh, weren't you with Harry?"
They did one show together, Dancing with they danced together, and now she's forever branded to this guy who intentionally is starting arguments on the internet.
No, exactly. And Riley, literally, think about it. She was born in 2005. I had to look it up. 2005. She's so young.
And me and Harry were born in 97.
Oh my goodness. She's 5 years younger than me. That's crazy.
Insane.
That's crazy.
Insane. Now they've unfollowed each other on the internet. And do I think it's a publicity stunt? Probably, knowing him. It probably is a publicity stunt. We're gonna
For the
unfollow each other. There's gonna be so many clicks and views.
Yeah, and he's going to talk about a first episode on his podcast. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, he already did talk about it in his podcast. 10 minutes in, he's ruined the whole podcast.
Oh, I didn't even know his podcast was actually launched.
Yes, of course. And he used her right. I'm going to use Riley, the most significant part of Dancing with the Stars, right now, initially for clicks. And nobody saw this coming. Like, be so for real. I might have controversy on reality TV. I might always speak up against somebody. I might do a lot of things. But one thing I'm not, Gabrielle, I'm not a liar, and I'm never wrong. I'm usually always right when I say crap like this. Nobody saw this crap coming. Are you joking me? The guy has a cute little blonde girl, super young, very naive, will probably listen to everything.
I literally was saying this even before they like stopped talking in this whole unfollowing situation. I was saying, oh, his stuff when he's just alone posting stuff, it doesn't get views. The only things that gets views on his like TikTok and stuff is when he's posting with another girl. I said that weeks ago, did I not?
You did.
Yeah.
You did. And I don't have a problem with this person. I fed the homeless with this guy. I've done shows with this guy. And like, we used to be very, very close friends. I remember when he got announced for Dancing with the Stars, I sent him a text like, yo, bro, congratulations. That's so awesome. That's like a dream of mine to be on Dancing with the Stars. Like, that's amazing. Comes back green. That's weird. Go message him on Instagram. I got an unfollow. I go check TikTok. It's an unfollow. And I'm sitting there going, this is kind of weird. Like, why am I getting an unfollow all of a sudden from somebody who I was extremely close
Do you know
with?
why?
I have theories. Obviously, I got to hang out with Georgia a little bit, had some conversations with Georgia, but I have theories as to why he did it. And I'm not going to really speak on it here nor there because, you know, I think jealousy is a hell of a drug. But, like, here's the thing. Like, bro, what did you think was going to happen? Did you think that you were going to be the only reality TV star to ever be blessed in Hollywood? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, it's better to build an army with 100 really good people than have 1,000 just really weak followers. So, you know, no shade to him, but I refuse to kiss his ass. And I think like that's something that's different from me and other reality stars is because when you talk about, you know.
You're a little bit more bold.
I'm way more bold. When you talk about reality stars, especially that come from the big 3 shows.
Yeah.
You know, and then you talk about the big seasons and like big characters on those seasons. It's like, yeah, he's in the discussion, but you know, who else is in that discussion? You know, so, it's kind of just goes back to like, I'm not here to attack anybody. I'm not starting any internet. If he wants to get in Misfits boxing scene, we are the same weight. I don't think I don't think they.
That wouldn't be fair.
I would, in fact, if he ever wanted that smoke, not only would I give him.
A call out?
I would, yeah, 100% is a call out, buddy. I will give you my entire purse to box me. Like, I don't even need paid for that one. I am so confident that I would beat the hell out of that man so fast. I will give him my entire fight purse and half of all the sponsorships I get for that fight. And he could keep all of his money, win, lose, or draw. Jeez. I just want to punch him in the face. So.
Wow.
So if he wants that boxing match, you know, we don't have to hide behind Snapchats and unfollows. Like, I'm really about that. So, you know, fair play to him. And I will, the shorts, it'll say hashtag Team Riley or hashtag Little Blonde Girl. I'll make a point to make sure that that's on the shorts so that he can see it specifically and know when he's getting his ass whooped and his back is on the canvas and I drop my nuts on his chin.
Jeez,
he can see
it. See, you go a little far. That was just a little bit too far. Okay, so you want to box each other. Would you say that he's like your kind of ideal opponent, or who?
He's not an opponent, Gab.
Okay.
He doesn't know how to fight. He's not a boxer. He can barely. We saw him on Dancing with the Stars. That thing was about as cringe gets.
Some people just don't have rhythm, like
they don't.
me.
And it was crazy as I voted for him. I have text messages to prove it. Like
No, I remember you voting for him.
I'm blowing him up saying, yo, bro, congrats. Like spamming his phone, like trying to run up the votes and you know, it's just really unfortunate because
it's sad too. Like, I don't know. You always bat for him.
I was always in his
back
corner.
in your face. It's just like even whenever you went out of your way to buy his candle, and you post that, no one asked you to do that. You just did it. You spent freaking $80 on a candle, which I told you was stupid.
It's about supporting your friends. Like, I've never had a vendetta. I've always supported said person. I've always, you know. It was really disappointing to find out that people unfollow you just because you do certain things that make you more or less eye level. And it's just like, and this conversation is not so much about me as it is, do what you got to do. There doesn't need to be beef, but don't involve an 18-year-old who just graduated high school, because now this girl's going to be branded to you for the next X amount of years, and that's where I'm going to draw the line.
Yeah.
So it is what it was with that. But moving on from his dramatic self, speaking of boxing, we have to talk about Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia.
Oh, geez. That was an ass whooping and a half. I'd be embarrassed. Should I say that or no? Like, even me watching that, I was like, wow, he just got humbled. Like, jeez.
I like Devin Haney and I like Ryan Garcia, so like I was neutral in that, but that wasn't.
There was absolutely nothing neutral about that fight. Ryan Garcia just destroyed Devin Haney, and now he's being a crybaby online about it.
Yeah.
So.
You know what's crazy about this whole thing is Ryan Garcia popping for steroids.
Yeah, then there's that too.
Austrian, I think it's called.
I don't even know. He was trying to argue it on Twitter, I saw. He was like, that amount, the traces that were even found, isn't even enough to do anything. That's because I stopped taking supplements or something like that. He was like, I was really clean. It was like trace amounts that was even found.
See, here's the thing is, like, anytime you have a fighter, almost all the time they know that they're taking something. There's two things. Either you knew you were taking it and you were hoping you were going to get a caught, or somebody was force feeding you this. And most of the time you can't be like force fed or force.
You're not going to take a pill and not know what it is.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, most of the time you know what it is. So whatever the argument you have is that. Bottom line, the baseline of the story is he apparently was getting drug tested by VADA, V-A-D-A, Voluntary Athletic Dopamine Association. That's what it stands for. All fighters go through this. And it's like this white paper with red lighting on it. And you get drug tested throughout your entire fight camp. And nothing popped for him. But apparently on the Tuesday before the fight, he took a drug test. And it came back in 72 hours and said that he was hot for this Austrian or whatever the hell it is that he was taking. But then they still allowed the fight to take place.
That's what I'm saying. Why would they allow the fight to take place if they literally knew he was popping for something?
Because from what my understanding is like the VADA test does not come out unless you win the fight.
Well, he also paid $1.5 million because he was 3 pounds overweight.
Yeah, he paid $500,000
per pound.
Per pound he was overweight. So that he knew something that Devin Haney didn't know. Granted, like they did have an amateur background. I think they were 3-3, so this was like game 7 for them. And like it was a big build up to the fight. And Ryan Garcia came out and said that he was intentionally, making people think he was going crazy. And I was on Twitter Spaces with Ryan Garcia.
Did say that?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, and I was on Twitter Spaces with Ryan Garcia. He's a nice guy. I really like him. I like Devin Haney too. I have his number, and I text them both separately. And the thing is once the fight took place, there was so much money. Like I think one of them made $35 million, one made $50 million. Plus, you got to count
Wait,
all the bets.
what?
Yes.
So this $1.5 million that Ryan ended up
was nothing. It was chump change.
I can't wait. Actually, no. Let's be honest. That's never going to be chump change to me. Wow.
Yeah.
Just $1.5 million.
And he paid him. There was no. And then came out. Devin Haney said, "Oh, he's paid me, whatever." So he got his money. But the thing is, after the drug test came out. Now you got Devin Haney already lined up on podcasts saying I'm levels above every fighter I've ever fought, and I've never gotten my ass whooped like that before.
Me and the team have to reevaluate something.
He's got to reevaluate his team and all this and that. And he's totally kind of blame all of that on what Ryan Garcia did. But here's the thing about what Ryan Garcia did. Ryan Garcia threw a left hook the entire time. He got, like Devin Haney, and I like Devin Haney, I think he's a great boxer.
Got paid off?
He got outboxed. He didn't get paid off. He got outboxed. He got the same hook thrown to his face, broke his jaw, dropped him like 4 or 5 times. Devin Haney's known for trying to grab. Ryan was bigger. Ryan was the better fighter.
I would happily take an ass whipping if I made $35 million.
That's just baseline fight. It's not even the endorsement. That's pay-per-view sales. You know what I mean?
What?
Yeah, that's.
Why can't girls actually be successful athletes? I mean, I wouldn't. Even if I was an athlete, I wouldn't be successful. But dang, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So now, all of these fighters coming out of the woodworks talking shit. Right? You're a cheater. You miss weight. One in particular is Conor McGregor.
No way.
Conor McGregor.
Which he just bought. He just became an owner of the Bear and Uncle fight. Because we can talk about that fight after this. Because we were there this past weekend.
Right. Let me.
And one of your friendly friends was there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to that in a second. And let me just read what Conor McGregor has to say about.
I feel like Conor McGregor is always chirping at something. He's kind of like you. You guys both like to really talk some shit, and it's always very interesting, especially with Conor McGregor, because he's like a very well-respected fighter, and most people don't like expect fighters to talk as much crap as like he does. And I think he was one of the first real pro fighters to be like, hey, this gets more sales. I make more money. Let me talk more shit, you know?
Okay, so this is what Conor McGregor had to say to Ryan Garcia. He said, cheated the weight and was juiced. Lifetime ban. Sad to see. Sad to say. Sad and a bit sick. Don't come near me if I see you ever, Ryan Garcia. I am actually disgusted. The Austerian, it reminds me of Sean O'Malley, was on that as well. I don't like this. I'll bust yous both. Do yous want a spar? I will set fights right now for you both for a full-on spar each other. Hotel Black Forge in the lot. He can't type worth a damn. Let's spar O'Malley and the Garcias. Two little Australian heads. Already both like yous are Australian ostriches. What the fuck is up? What do you think you are? If I was Haney's dad, you're dead no matter what for doing that. Crazy. What the fuck happened to you, you little fool? Get your head together, cause I'm gonna smash it in with me elbows. I don't fair play, Devin. Well done. Your performance has just become even more heroic. Bravo. Get your head together, or unalive yourself. I can't say another word he said. And then Ryan's response to that was, if I see Conor McGregor, I'm going to break your weak ass ankles. You ran from being tested because you were on roids. Roid house or roid rage. Fudge Conor, cocaine brain McGregor.
Gosh.
So like, they've been going at each other all day on Twitter. Tank Davis has been going back and forth. Ryan Garcia has come out and claimed that it's all a conspiracy because they didn't want him to win. They didn't think he was going to win. They didn't want to take.
The odds were against him.
Oh yeah. He was meant to lose that fight.
So a lot of people lost big money.
There's a lot of people that lost big money. But I feel like with how corrupt boxing has been in the past, I'm not saying it's not possible, but what I will say is there have been controversial boxing decisions. There have been controversial outcomes with how drug testing has gone, but there has never been a case in the history of ever in fighting where somebody has popped hot for a drug and it not been true. Like they can't forge and say, you popped for this. They can go test them again and again and again. And they could pull hair follicles and they could do a lot to see.
Yeah, if they did the hair, they would be able to see like how often and when he was using
longevity.
That'd be way better.
So it's a lot harder to say like somebody popped.
It's also way more expensive to do it that way. So that's probably why they stick with the urine test, because it's also easier and quicker to get the results.
Regardless, it doesn't really matter because now you got Tank Davis and Ryan's DM saying like, yo, bro, if you cheated, I'm going to whoop your ass again.
That's crazy.
He did whoop his ass the first time. And then you got, Dylan Dennis having a field day with Paige Vanetti, speaking of female fighters. Paige Vanetti versus Elle Brook, May 25th, Misfits 15, I think it is.
Dylan Dennis is now talking. What is this man doing?
This man has said something to Paige Vanetti. This man said something to Paige Vanetti, who is now married. He said that Paige is not a good fighter and her husband sucks at fighting too, or something like that. So Paige Vanetti, or however you say her name, posted this video.
It has come to my attention that there is a certain clown on Instagram by the name of Dylan Dennis trying to talk some shit and stir up some drama. So let's fucking go, right? So Dylan, obviously I said you're not a real fighter. My bad, I triggered you. I understand that hurt your feelings. But instead of coming back and just talking shit about me, saying I'm not a real fighter, what did you do? You kind of fucked yourself, right? You backed yourself into a corner because now you have to come with proof of this alleged affair, right? Because the only time I remember ever seeing you in Vegas was at the UFC athlete retreat. You walked up to me in a bar, asked me to peg you in front of multiple other UFC fighters, and I laughed in your face. That's not the definition of a relationship, is it? And stirring up drama on the internet to try to fight my husband, there's definitely better ways that you can handle that. He's got 3 things that you will absolutely never have. 1, a wife. 2, friends. And 3, a real MMA resume. So, Dylan, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings, but when you're a piece of shit like you are, it's pretty fucking...
And in the video, she basically is stating that Dylan Dennis used to see her, and that Dylan used to ask her to peg him because that was what he was into. And so she posted this video saying that. So then Dylan's response was far worse than that.
Oh, no.
Because you know Dylan Dennis.
He never does things lightly. He goes like 110% to the point where all boundaries, if there was ever a boundary, was crossed like 10 times over. Dylan Dennis still posts stuff about one of the Paul's fiancés.
Okay, so I got the tweet pulled up right here. Dylan Dennis says, response to the video, "You're crying in that video because you know I have receipts. You sell your arsehole and nasty botched tit job because you are a terrible fighter and have to support your deadbeat husband, a failed fighter turned OnlyFans cuck who can't even support you financially. You must have forgotten why I asked you to peg me, because that stank pussy filled the room from all the alpha male gym members who've nutted in you. Your husband isn't with you because you're special. He's the only brain dead cuck who said yes. You settled for him because I was just too smart to marry a whore." And then posted photos of her with many different men. Wow, that was the response.
Did she say anything to that?
I don't know if it has replied to it, but you know, her video has hit over 2 million impressions, so you know, she's doing her due diligence with that. But you know, she's fighting on May 20th. I'm sure Dylan will be very locked in. And I like Dylan Dennis.
I'm not the biggest fan. He just doesn't respect boundaries, and I think if you do social media, you should respect some sort of boundaries, and he just takes it a little bit too far.
Speaking of boundaries, transition from boxing, let's talk about all the FaZe Clan drama that's going on right now. Are you familiar with anything that's going on with that?
No.
No? Do you know anybody from FaZe Clan?
Banks, Rug.
All right, everybody on Unscripted. We're going to have to start giving Gabrielle homework the week before the podcast so she's updated on pop culture.
Guys, I'm really bad. I don't even go on social media that much other than TikTok.
I think Gab shows up to the podcast and goes, Chase is going to bring up the subjects, and I'm just going to comment.
Hey, I brought up one. Oh, we'll talk about my subjects later. But what's the drama with FaZe?
So initially, obviously, FaZe Clan used to be one of the biggest gaming organizations in the world.
Yeah, I've been in one of their YouTube videos.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. But they sold their shares, basically. Nobody owned it. It was like a very corporate thing. They started signing all of these other FaZe Clan members, et cetera, et cetera. There was a lot of drama going on with that. Mm-hmm. FaZe Banks was basically given the keys to the office again. FaZe Banks is one of the original creators of FaZe Clan.
He's the blonde dude.
Went in there with 140 signed FaZe Clan members and employees, fired all of them. Basically, there's 14 left.
Shoot.
So he fired all of them, and he did not go and tell them they were fired. You know how they found out they were fired? Because FaZe Clan posted a video and posted it to Twitter and said, these are the FaZe cuts. And it was like this blue list of names.
Wait, so did Carrington's boyfriend get cut?
All of them are cut.
No.
They're all cut. He signed 4 brand new members.
Let's be honest, maybe not in that way. Some cuts I think did need to happen because FaZe was just tanking and it used to be so iconic, and now it's just kind of like, who are these people?
So he came out with a list, he posted on Twitter, and the list says FaZe Adept, FaZe Apex, FaZe Banks, FaZe Jev, Kaysen, Nick Merckx, Replays, Ronaldo, Rug, Scope, Swag, Temper, Your Rage, and Zuma. Everyone else is out. That is our roster. And this was the video he posted saying everybody got cut. Then he signed 4 brand new FaZe Clan members, people we've never really heard of. But, you know, FaZe is getting back to its roots and trying to get back to what they are known for. That's
gaming,
trolling the internet, and being a bunch of degenerates. That's what they do. That's their brand.
Yeah.
And it worked for them. And then they got super corporate. So they got super corporate. So they're trying to get back to the way that they were before. So fair play to
That's
Banks.
tough though.
It is tough. It's
That's
tough.
so tough.
Do you know what's more tough than that? One of the FaZe Clan members, the girl, what was her name? With
The only girl that was signed. I know exactly who you're talking
Warzone
about.
streamer.
Yeah.
She's one of the only FaZe Clan members that was pulling up millions of views. Let me make sure.
And she got cut too?
FaZe girl.
I just can't imagine being a part of something for years and like putting all your work into it, and then you find out you're fired from a tweet.
Yeah.
Like that's
Okay.
like wow.
So FaZe Kaylee, K-A-L-E-I. K-A-L-E-I, one of the biggest Warzone streamers on Twitch right now, pulling millions of impressions a week. One of the only FaZe Clan members. She was on stream when she found out she got cut. She started crying. There's like a video of it.
No.
She started crying, and she wasn't getting paid by FaZe Clan. She just liked being a part of the organization. She didn't ask them to pay her. None of that. She's the only one who's pulling millions of impressions, and FaZe offed her. On stream.
I feel like some lawsuits might definitely be coming out of this.
I don't know if you can have lawsuits.
Yes, there's a lawsuit for like not unjust.
I got off a call and
Yeah, I'm being serious. I got kicked. One of the only members that can pull millions of impressions a week. Top streamer for Warzone. And still had so much love and passion for a team that I didn't even get paid to stay there. I stayed because I loved it. No crypto content, no FaZe for you. Yeah. I got told. I literally got told by everyone that me and Scope were gonna be we were gonna be the people to stay. And it's just Scope now. And I'm not like really emotional. I don't think I've ever like really cried on stream. But this has been like a year in the making. It's so amazing how I already knew all of this a year ago. And when I told them I knew who the recruits were, they were, how do you know? Are you kidding me? I'm not fucking stupid. They treated like we were fucking stupid.
Jeez.
Fucking stupid.
That's crazy.
And it's tough because she was one of the biggest Warzone streamers. She's still one of the biggest Warzone streamers. So she even got cut. And so basically Banks is going in there and he's cleaning house and he doesn't really care. And fair play to him because he was one of the founding OGs of FaZe Clan. Even one of the founding members got booted from the organization. So I think within the next year, two things are going to happen. Either one, FaZe is going to get back to where it was. Or two, FaZe is going to tank.
Those are two very drastic differences.
There's not going to be an in
It's
between.
either going to be great or it's
Because
absolutely
there's
gonna
no
fail.
room for middleman anymore. There's not going to be a, oh, well, we're just FaZe Clan, we're doing all right, we got all these streamers signed to us. They don't have any streamers anymore. So it's either the 10 people that they still have left are really going to do good, or even if half of them do really bad and only 4 of them do good, it's going to look really bad for the organization. So,
Jeez.
because the whole premise and the point of it is when you are supposedly a part of FaZe Clan, you essentially, when you sign everybody, the name devalues itself.
Yeah, because it's more watered down.
So they're trying to have like high value name on it, essentially.
Jeez.
So
That's crazy. That's so crazy. There's something else that I wanted to talk about today. That's also a crazy story. You don't know what I'm about to say? The U-Haul situation. That was scary as frick. You were gone. And so pretty much, I don't know if I was almost stalked and like almost kidnapped sort of situation, but I made a TikTok about this and ended up getting a lot of views, which was not my intention like whatsoever. It was just a really scary situation that I was in, and I wanted to like raise awareness because if someone else like wasn't paying attention, someone else could have gotten in a really bad situation, or even I could have. So pretty much I was dropping off one of the pets at the groomer, and I left the groomer and I noticed a car behind me, like not directly behind me, but to the right of me. It was a black Porsche, and I just see the driver's hand sticking out of the window and like pointing, and I hear him honking, and there's a U-Haul like next to them directly behind me. And they're trying to get the U-Haul person's attention or whatever. And there's two men in the U-Haul, and I think there was only one person in the black Porsche. Anyways, I'm driving, the black Porsche disappears, but this U-Haul keeps following me. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh, like that was weird, but like I'm not gonna think much of it. I'm an overthinker. And so I keep driving, and then I make some turns. I see that the U-Haul's still behind me. I'm like, well, this is getting weird. Like, why is this person following me? And then I make more turns. I'm like, I'm not gonna go home. This car's still following me. Like, let me look up police stations. Should I have called the police then? Probably. But in my head, I'm still thinking to myself, Gab, you're overthinking. Like, be for real. No one really gives a crap about you. Like, why would you be yeeted? Anyway, so then I think, oh, what's the nearest, like, most public place? Costco. So I pull into Costco, but I go a really weird way into Costco. And this is when things in my head are like, oh, wait, something weird is actually happening here. I take like the second entrance, but I go like the long way around, and this car is still following me, this U-Haul. I get the numbers of the U-Haul, like I memorized them, and I'm driving around the parking lot, and this U-Haul is still following me. So I lose the U-Haul, I park, and I literally sprint into Costco. Because I'm like, I don't want to be a sitting duck in the car, so I sprint into Costco. And I'm in Costco, like I literally didn't even need to be there, but I was just there like wasting time, trying to see if the U-Haul like left. Anyways, I was in there for 35-ish minutes, 35 to 40 minutes. I come out, what do I see and what do I take a video of? The U-Haul doing laps around the Costco parking lot. And this is when I get scared. I was on the phone with my twin sister. I hang up, sprint to the car, and I immediately just start bawling my eyes out. And then that's when I call the cops. And I'm like, hey, I think I'm being followed. Like, I don't really know what to do. I don't feel comfortable like sitting in this car alone, because like now I am a sitting duck. Like they've driven past the car. Like, I need to go. And the operator's like, okay, don't go home. We could either have the cops meet you here in the parking lot. It might take a little bit, or you could drive around and make sure you're safe. So that's what I did. I drove around. They weren't following me anymore. Then the operator talked me through like where to look to see if there's like air tags placed on the car. There wasn't any air tags, whatever. They said that the cops were gonna come to where I was staying to make sure everything was good, get like a report and everything. And I was like, okay, good. Like, I didn't see any air tags. Cops were gonna meet me later where I was staying. What happens 4 hours later? Cops still aren't there. So what do I decide to do? I go to the fire department because I'm like, well, cops still never showed up. Like, what's going on? So I had the fire department check the car. And one of them like downloaded an app to like detect if there was any like air tags and stuff. There weren't, which was good. I ended up bringing them crumble cookies the next day to say thank you. But yeah, cops never showed up, so I took it into my own hands to find out who the guy was. I got his name and everything. U-Haul, whenever I called them, I heard the worst thing from them. They go, yeah, we can't give you his personal info, but he looked like a perv. And I'm like, wow, that's really gonna make me sleep well at night. But I did end up finding out he's not a registered sex offender in the state where I'm at. Who knows if he is in another state. They weren't really much help, but I guess that made me feel better that, one, I never saw that person again. Nothing ever came of any of it, but this just goes to show, be careful, pay attention to your surroundings. Like, who knows if that situation could have been a lot worse if I wasn't paying attention, or maybe I was just overthinking absolutely everything and nothing was actually happening. But scary situation, be careful. Ladies and men, if you're alone, have someone you can call. Maybe call the cops a little bit sooner than I did. Know where to check your car for air tags. So yeah, that's the crazy thing that happened to me. Just another day in my life. What would you do if you were getting stalked and followed, Chase? Knock on wood. I mean,
I'll be knocking on the door like, yo, bro, is there something I can help you with?
Yeah, no, I literally got his name though, in a very interesting way, because the TikTok went viral and someone from U-Haul, one of the workers, reached up and looked up his name. That's how I got all the info, and I had my dad search him because my dad's an investigator. So,
wow,
crazy.
Well, moral of the story, stay away from them U-Haul trucks. You know, it kind of goes back to that saying, is like, when they talk about, what's that popular saying, would you rather be stuck in the woods with a bear or a man?
Yes, I've been seeing that comment. That comment was one of the big comments, like, on my thing. I'd rather take a bear. I'd choose a bear over a man. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't even know that was a thing. But the more I've been scrolling on TikTok and stuff, this is a normal occurrence. Like, people are getting, like, almost kidnapped, like, going to grocery stores. And it was broad daylight, too. So that's why I was thinking in my head, I'm overthinking. But then as soon as I pulled into Costco and they're still following me, and I see them doing laps around the parking lot, after I waited, like, 35 minutes, I was like, listen, I'm not going to be on the next Dateline. You know, my body isn't going to be found and floated in a river. Hell no.
Did you see that thing with the guys that went unalived, the monitor lizard? Did you see my story about that? Yeah, it's back to like the bear or the man situation. Apparently, over the weekend, there was a group of men, 4 of them, showed up in a truck and snuck into a zoo in India, I want to say, and hopped over. There's an endangered lizard called a monitor lizard. It's like a cousin of a Komodo dragon, big lizard, right? That.
So it's like this big.
Right. So they all had their way with it. They all essayed it, and then.
What's wrong with people?
No, this is a true story. Like it was like trending. So after they essayed it, they killed it, obviously, or unalived it, and they cooked and ate it. And then the only reason they were found was because you can imagine the security the next day when he's trying to figure out what the hell happened to one of the lizards that's endangered, that's not missing, opens the security cameras and sees 4 men do this to this lizard.
Okay, you're mentally how do I say this correctly? You have issues.
Literally, look it up. Monitor lizard and 4 guys gang raped a lizard and killed and ate it. Imagine nutting in something and then killing it and eating it. It's got to be a whole.
Imagine doing anything to an animal. Like, you must have something wrong, like something is miswired in your brain for you to.
Shout out to India.
Yeah, we've talked about India before on this podcast.
I mean,
I keep seeing so much stuff pop
country.
up. Yes, it is, especially for like
lizards.
I guess, like.
Endangered things.
Like, what? That's crazy. What the heck?
Yeah.
Would you ever touch an animal? I mean.
Would I? No, Gabrielle, I would not. I want to make that very clear. I'm not even going to play into that. No.
I don't know why I asked.
Would you ever?
Heck no. Why would? Okay. Anyways, I also have some crazy dating stories if you want to talk about that. Or do you have anything else you want to?
I'm good. Let's transition into
the favorite topic that we have. At the end of every single episode, we do this thing where we read stories that you guys send us. And this week, we're going to talk about online dates or meeting someone online and having a date with them in real life, like from Tinder, from Match, anything like that. Things always get interesting with the dating apps. So, first one. This one was just weird. I went on a date with a guy from Match.com. We met at a wine bar and he had immediately told me he had multiple other dates scheduled for the same day. He then claimed he could communicate with dolphins in a special language and proceeded to lecture me because I did not practice transcendental meditation. I said that word wrong, ignore that. Needless to say, I chugged my glass of wine, paid the bartender, and got the heck out of there. Maybe he had better luck with one of his other dates that day.
Yeah, I guess she didn't realize she was going on a date with Aquaman.
Literally. Like, I'm sorry. If someone pulls up and is like, I can communicate with animals, I'd be like, so you're
Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah. You work at SeaWorld? Like.
Oh, pause. We're canceling SeaWorld.
Oh, yeah. They're not allowed to have orcas anymore. Yikes. Another one. I met up with a guy on Tinder, and it seemed to be going okay. We went back to his apartment for drinks. He excused himself for a moment and returned to the living room fully naked. I ran back to my car and met up with a friend at a bar, but I ended up meeting the guy I've been with for the past 5 years from running out of that apartment and meeting up with my friend, so it didn't all end bad.
Well, I mean, he had intentions. He was shooting his shot. I can't be mad at the guy. I mean,
he
was in his house.
Yeah, he did bring her back to the home. But I would have, maybe asked first and been like, hey, so.
What do you think is going to go on when you
drop a hint. Don't fully just rip off your clothes.
The hint was them going back to the house. Like, We're here.
Well, duh. See,
What did she think was
these
gonna
are the
happen? We were gonna hold hands?
well, I know, but being like that far, like going for it, like give me a warning at least. Like ask me if it's okay first. Don't just rip everything off and come out
I
in
just
your
feel like
birthday
the
suit.
conversation to have is like, hey, like, can we smash? Like, I feel like,
Yeah, at least say that.
I don't
or
know
like,
if you can have that conversation. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think you just either go for it
okay,
and
let's
see
be
what happens.
honest. Most people on online dating apps are like there for the hookups. Like, let's be for real.
That's why she was home with him. So fair play to him.
Exactly. But he just came out in the. Imagine a woman just came up to you completely naked after you were at her house for 2 seconds. Would you be scared? I would.
I mean, if I was over at her house, then I would have full. I'd be like, dang, this just took a load off my back.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Okay. Anyways, another one. I matched with a guy who I developed a deep emotional connection with very quickly. We met and everything was amazing. He was the perfect guy for me. Suddenly, he asked me to move to Florida with him after only a week of talking. When I declined, he decided not to go because he wanted to see where things would go with us. Red flag number 1. We moved on from that. Then a week later, he started calling me up drunk, saying I was too good for him and I deserved better. When I pressured him for an answer on why he was feeling this way, he wouldn't admit it and he kept dodging it. Ultimately, though, he finally admitted to me that he was selling heroin and he had no way out. Talk about a shock of a lifetime. I cut off all contact and told him to never talk to me again. That's why he wanted to move to Florida.
Bro was playing in real life GTA. We got a heroin addict before GTA 6. That's crazy.
I guess he was running from his demons, literally.
Yikes.
Trying to move to Florida. He said, I'm out of
Well, you
here.
gotta find more demons in Florida.
No.
Shout out to Florida.
Exactly. Okay, last one. I met a guy on Hinge. He was very interested in meeting after light chatting for just a few weeks, but didn't want to go at a bar or a restaurant. Instead, he wanted to meet at a park. I went and he seemed fine, and he said he had just moved into the city and was crashing at his cousin's house. After meeting, he continued to message me, call me pet names, and said even he knew before that we met we were meant to be, and convinced me to let him come over. Against my better judgment, I did, and was creeped out by how overly familiar he was, like acting like we were already dating. He commented on my wine collection, saying we'll have to drink my nicest bottle on our anniversary. I asked him to politely leave. So this man made up a whole fake relationship before they were even
Well, shit, he's
together.
just joining the rest of these influencers in 2024.
Oh my gosh, he did not just go there. That's crazy. That's delusional. You talked to someone on a dating app for a few weeks and then apparently you're dating and already celebrating anniversaries. That's wild.
Well, welcome to 2024. The apps are dating, the people are slinging, and the anniversaries are being had. So, anyways.
With that being said,
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the #1 podcast in the world. I am your host, Chase the Moore,
and Gabrielle Moses.
and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.